National Geographic Explorer is brought to you by the people of IBM, who salute the explorers of the unknown and untried. CNN, the world's most important network.
You're aware of their presence almost every time you step into a Manhattan intersection. Bicycle messengers, whizzing through traffic lights and sometimes the wrong way down one-way streets. They're fast, efficient, and dangerous. The toughest don't even bother with gears or brakes. They count among their alumni an Olympic cycling champion, 84 silver medalist Nelson Bales. Look both ways before crossing. Here come the big city bike messengers.
Speed really thrills me, and that's what I like about it, the speed. You have total freedom, you can do whatever you want. It's like no laws, no rules, you know, nothing bothers you. Me riding a bike is like a bird flying.
You have a very direct relationship with the world. You're going fast, but it's not like you're in a car, you know, you see everything. It just seems very pure to me.
Why am I doing this? I'm either crazy or on drugs, and I don't take drugs, so I gotta be crazy.
Most of my friends call me Soviet, and people say it's because I'm always Russian. I grew up in a college town, not a big town, but a fairly liberal town, and I was the wildest young creature in that town.
Catherine Potter left her Texas town to become a high-fashion model in New York, but it didn't turn out that way.
When I first moved to New York, I was really afraid to ride my bike in the city, and when I saw the bike messengers riding around, and I thought they were just so brave and great, and I want to be a member of that elite, you know, in the shiny lycra pants. I guess I was always looking for something to hang my life around.
I wake up about 6:30 in the morning, get in early before everybody else. It's nice and quiet in here before the mayhem breaks out.
On the streets of New York, bicycle messenger Alan Kaplan is known as Rambo. He dreams of becoming a professional racer.
I dropped out of college just to see what my capabilities are to become a world-class athlete.
Well, New York City is it's like a jewel when I go over the bridge in the morning. The bridge just sings, and it's mine. When I'm coming over the bridge, I rule. After I get in the office, my mood changes considerably. You get in there with the phones ringing and the people yelling, but in the morning, things are still pretty pure and clean.
By mid-morning, the city cranks up to full gear. On a good day, millions of people and nearly 1 million cars crowd the traffic-choked streets. On a bad day, no one moves at all, except maybe people willing to brave New York on a bicycle. Some of the best turn their mobility into a living. In lofts and storefronts scattered through the fringes of Manhattan are scores of bike messenger companies, like Lightspeed.
Coming down, we're coming. Come on down. Okay.
Lightspeed.
All right, then I pick up on 267. I pick up at
At the nerve center of a company are dispatchers, fielding calls from frantic customers and maneuvering messengers like Rambo and Soviet around the city.
Send Soviet down.
Engine empty at East 91st Street.
Was Paul given that run?
Yes, he was.
Fill this in.
Thank you.
In the city, you're so agile in the traffic. I mean, you can't help but feel superior when you're anywhere just like this. I mean, you move. If I start downtown and I have a package going uptown, it's like dealing cards, so the first thing I do is I plot out how I'm going to get there, what avenue I'm going to take, what street I'm going to cross over on, so I don't have to go the wrong way, so I don't have to get mixed up in any traffic jams. There's places where you can't go through.
Every day delivering messages is like, I think it's like a race. You know, you can't let up whatsoever. I mean, usually I don't even put on my brakes whatsoever because I know if I'm going to put on my brakes, it'll slow me down for a couple of seconds. You gotta just keep going. You gotta be there at a certain time, and you think it's impossible, but you make it. Being reckless is like one of the major things of being a good messenger. You have to have an instinct of where the pedestrian is going to go, if he hesitates or not. Hesitation kills, they say. You know, it's like a time trial. You have to go your hardest just to get the package delivered.
I went to get a job as a bicycle messenger so I could ride as a bicycle messenger and feel what it meant to be a bicycle messenger.
Urban anthropologist Jack Kugelmass.
Most of the people whom I identified with were people who were quite interesting and artistic, creative people who had a lot of trouble in a general 9-to-5 routine. And these people turned to messengering because it offered them a chance to do something very concrete and very specific that they could see themselves as being very successful in. You carry nothing with you at the end of the day. The job is complete, it's over. There are very few things in life that offer you that kind of opportunity to feel accomplished at the end of the day.
I mean, I feel sorry for people that have to sit in an office all day. You know, I feel like I'm lucky, but to be doing what I love to do and getting paid for it.
Good, I'm going to 150 West 26.
Good. I have the envelope here for
Oh,
you.
okay, thanks.
Okay. Have a good trip.
Yeah, you too.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, there have always been messengers, you know, since the Roman Empire and before. I mean, I laugh when I tell people I'm in the oldest profession. They don't think I'm talking about being a messenger. I said, well, somebody had to carry the notes.
Everyone wants a chance to feel exceptional, but there are very few opportunities in life that allow us to feel that way. The bicycle messenger industry is one of those situations where there is a certain amount of confrontation with death. It is dangerous.
You have to be daring. You have to be willing to go up against danger. Because once you've gone through a dangerous moment, you know, that's enough to quit right there. But you have to want to do it again somehow.
Every day, once a week, you almost get killed. Seriously.
Yeah, you live the edge. I call it the edge. And it's like, no matter what the situation is, you either speed up, take the chance, go in between two buses, closing in, or you slow down. And
You get a cab driver and you're riding in traffic. Okay, you know the guy is going, you know he's going to go straight, you know if there's an opening, he's going to cut in. What screws you up is the people from Jersey who put on their signal lights, and you know there's 20 feet to get in, and you know 3 cars could do it, but you see them, they're looking back, you know, well, what do I do now? And you don't know what the hell they're going to do. You don't know whether to go, you don't know whether to stop.
Because you make a maneuver and someone does something wrong, or you try to make it and you realize you shouldn't have tried to make that maneuver, and you come this much closer with the bus going by 40 miles an hour, you know you almost got...
You know, you get the adrenaline flow. It's like, yeah, man, you know, I have a rating system on, like, all the close encounters I have. Like, if you get hit by a car, but you don't get mangled or whatever, that's a 10.
Yeah. Do they tell you the rules when you get hired?
Oh, yeah, I've known these rules since before I was even hired as a messenger.
So you know not to go through red lights then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Then why do you go through the red lights?
Speed.
The race of the road is countered by the frustrations of pickups and deliveries.
Okay, 294.
Who's this? Who?
Elevators, hallways, calls into the dispatchers, and paperwork conspire to slow riders down in a way red lights and traffic laws never do.
I think it's guerrilla warfare, actually, the whole thing. And we're generals. And we have our troops out there. You know, that's what it looks like. And they're always moving. Let's say a messenger who makes $105, $110 a day. That dispatcher has to work his tail off to make that guy $105 a day. Okay, he has to think, concentration. He has to feel what's happening. If there's a rhythm, okay, there's movement, you're moving.
Without your dispatcher,
okay?
you can't make it.
And without that dispatcher, if you got the wrong guy sitting in that seat, man, forget about it.
Tell us about it.
Okay? That whole board is lit up, and you gotta move him and keep moving and keep the rhythm going.
A lot of people that said, oh, they've had all these close calls with messengers. The messengers might not have thought it was a close call. You know, I know how fast I'm going in relation to another moving vehicle, and I know when I've had a close call, and most of the time when you do, the motorist doesn't even know you had 6 inches and you took it, and you know, you went with it. I mean, sometimes you take risks, and when you take risks, sometimes you lose.
My comment is that they're dangerous. They can kill you.
Me and Solomon are going down the road. This bike messenger's parked right in the middle. He won't move, so I says, get out of the way. I'm going to run you over. Solomon says, get out of the way. We're going to run you over. Didn't get out of the way. We almost ran him over. He took a banana and boom, just almost hit me in the head. Beautiful time.
Right away in New York is determined by velocity and tonnage, you know. And pedestrians are down near the bottom of the list, you know.
I don't think they're ready for us. They're not used to, they're not prepared for us.
They're only looking for cars, really. And they'll be looking, and you can look right in their eyes and say, this man is looking at me. He knows I'm here. I'm going here. But they don't see you. They look through you. You're transparent.
You know, they wait for that. Oh, yeah, there goes the last car. You don't see the messenger drafting behind the car. Your gun's up. You know, it's like that. You live the edge.
It's New York City. I mean, there's 10 million people. You know, people step on each other's toes, run over each other's toes or whatever.
Wow, what is this? They have total disregard for the pedestrians. They run into cars. They smash people's windows with their locks. They run people down and keep going. They have no regard at all for life or any property at all.
It's a very dangerous job because of the traffic, and speed is of utmost importance because they're on a strictly commission basis, and I like them personally.
They do a good job, and they get their job done. And they got to make $1, so that's what counts.
Okay, Alan, got another one for you. Rambo special.
Without any kind of bike messenger service, we won't be able to function properly. We do like anywhere from like 30 to like 40 runs a day, you know, so we're constantly sending packages in and out. A package that went out recently is considered an unbikeable oversize, and most people who take that are usually truckers or walkers, most messengers. And he's like the only person who can actually handle it on the bike, which is incredible because it's very dangerous, but he always does it.
I think the most striking feature about these people's work, their sense of their work, is that it's very important. So they have a fantasy about danger, a fantasy about themselves as like the Pony Express riders of yesteryear. That a package has to get somewhere despite the fact that the Indians or the outlaws are going to cut them off at the pass. And they make it through that red light, you know, and jump the light, they'll be safe and they'll be able to make their delivery and the whole world will be fine and we'll be back to the good old days where there's justice and liberty and God and so on. And I think they have a sense that they're propping up a moral universe by getting a package somewhere on time.
I'm saving all my money, go over Europe, and that's my main goal of messengering. I just want to become, you know, to reach the pinnacle point of whatever I can possibly do. I know it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take time, but I would like to win the Tour de France one day. I mean, I'm not expecting major miracles overnight. On the train, I'll do about 3-4 hours. It's a hard day. It'll be 60, 70 miles. If I ever make it over in Europe and they ask me, you know, where did you start training, you know, how did you start training? I would tell them, you know, I was a messenger in New York City. That's where I got it all.
In the unending streets and fierce rhythms of New York, messengers have found a formidable friend and taskmaster. A city that needs them and takes them as they come. A city that rewards well their skill and daring. But a city of uncertainty.
Come on, get in your car! Get the car! Go!
If I'm going to not take any risks, I mean, I might as well just put myself in a padded cell and arrange for myself to be fed and watered. I mean, there really is no security, and I want to be happy, and I want to be happy now. I don't want to wait.
And Saturday mornings at 9:05 Eastern.
Time for change has come. You're ready to set a course of action. Plan some interaction. Get the information. Go!
They zoom around, they zigzag through the city in fast-forward motion. These bike messengers, they are a special breed of street-smart New Yorkers who bring new meaning to living life in the fast lane. Tonight on Zoom In, we'll take a look at the perils and pleasures of living on the edge with New York City's bike messengers.
Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. All the time. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane.
Monday morning in Midtown Manhattan, traffic has come to a standstill for all but those few New Yorkers willing to brave these streets on a bicycle. Equipped with little else than a backpack full of messages and a patch kit for emergency repairs, New York City's bike messengers bring new meaning to living life in the fast lane.
People ask me in elevators, you know, like guys would be in elevators, you're one of those vicious bike messengers I've read about, and I've never read any of this stuff, you know, so I just sort of kind of go, yeah, better watch out, man.
Monday's rough, 28 degrees. It's a beautiful day. Everybody thinks it's cold, but it's beautiful out. The wind's blowing up against my face. It's a nice place to be on a Monday morning. I'm having fun anyway. I like to ride my bicycle.
Lightspeed, man. Lightspeed. Lightspeed.
Located in Manhattan's Soho district, Lightspeed is one of the city's busier bike services.
Okay, give me a call back in about 10 minutes. Right?
Its president and founder, 29-year-old Robert Wyatt, has seen both sides of the business. Having started out as a bike messenger himself, Wyatt rode the streets for only 10 months before founding his own company.
I think it was 1983, I came to New York and I was going to become a rock star. I became a bike messenger. After about 10 months of that, I still wasn't a rock star, but I started learning more and more about messengering. After a few more months, I decided I could do it myself, and I started Lightspeed.
The bike messenger's connection to his work rests with the dispatcher. It is up to them to keep a steady flow of messages moving consistently through the streets.
Floor 10. Hold on. Amy, may I help you? Hello, can I help you?
Yeah, I got to pick up for Columbia Pictures.
Columbia Pictures?
Yeah.
There
All
you
right,
go.
thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a good day, too.
You too. What do you got? Something at 42nd Street and 5th Avenue. Okay, going downtown? All right, you got it. I'll call you from there. Bye.
Glamorized by Hollywood with such movies as Rush It and Quicksilver, bike messengering became the work of choice among a group of young people taken in by the romance and adventure portrayed by these movies. But for many, the glory quickly faded, leaving behind the reality of hard work, grueling hours, and constant risk.
There have been a couple movies that have portrayed bike messengering as being very glamorous and very attractive to do, a nice job. Is it really that glamorous?
I don't see it as being glamorous at all. It's my livelihood. I do it because it's a well-paying job. And of course I'm not going to be reckless if this is my livelihood.
Bike messengering is still changing. Criticisms of recklessness and irresponsibility have been heard and must now be addressed.
Messengering is going to undergo some sort of shakeout. It's going to become a more responsible industry. And there's going to always be a need to get something from point A to point B.
On July 22, 1987, New York City Mayor Ed Koch announced an experimental ban of all bicycle traffic from Midtown 5th, Madison, and Park Avenues. Within days of the news, the city's bicycle messengers marched in protest. While the mayor contended that such a plan should not affect a messenger's income, the proposed ban was clearly aimed at restricting the movements and, by extension, the commercial freedoms of a vital and pervasive service industry already handicapped by a poor image and general breakdown of public relations. This reputation, that of being reckless and dangerous, is felt by bicycle messengers to be largely undeserved and primarily attributable to a handful of inexperienced and overzealous individuals who, in their pursuit of the almighty dollar, show little regard for either pedestrian or vehicular traffic. In a city that tends to judge quickly and harshly, messengers are understandably anxious about the impression left by the local press and administration.
I don't know. I have a feeling that if I weren't on commission, it'd be just a little bit over minimum wage.
Really?
Yeah. I have a feeling. I'm not sure.
I guess maybe because you are pro, it doesn't matter for you. You are riding fast or not. You still will do it. Good.
Yeah. Good at being careful, yeah.
That Koch will succeed?
I think they'll succeed in cracking down on us somehow. They seem to be doing it now by harassing us with a lot of tickets. You know, having to watch for those policemen that are going to give us tickets means I can't be watching for pedestrians or for cars that are coming my way. I have to try and dodge the cops.
The city may have been justified in alerting the public to the dangers of fast bicycles, but in doing so it created a situation where cyclists are now ostracized, made to feel alienated from the very business community they serve. The legal process unfolded with characteristic lethargy. Meanwhile, pedestrians continue to display an alarming lack of caution when negotiating the city streets. They leap indiscriminately through the melee, often stopping short to avoid traffic and thereby providing the speeding messenger with what amounts to a deadly game of hit or miss in a constantly shifting obstacle course. In any event, the messengers are sure to pull the city through another winter before being disposed of, one more casualty in the face of an encroaching computer age.
All right, now, we've been working as a unit the past week, and as of yesterday, we were solid as a rock. Great. Now we have some problems, right? Now we have some problems. Problems are that if you haven't noticed, the police aren't here tonight. All right? I've had several people from different directions and different sources tell me that the mayor's office has instructed the police to look for problems. Move it! Now please, don't be quiet for a second and tell people about it, all right?
Don't break the law! Don't run the light! Don't run anybody over! The police are looking for an excuse!
Don't drive! Gotta keep it together. All together.
This is no party! This is politics! We're talking money, we're talking work!
New York may be eliminating those not responsible for the problem. As shown by recent hearings, and by those still alive to tell their stories, the city wants to eliminate the fear of accidents caused by bicycle messengers. Unfortunately, efforts to regulate the situation have been sporadic and unorganized. No committees were established, no authority granted, and no money allocated. The truth, of course, is that messengers are independent and will resist unreasonable control. There must be intelligent cooperation in any dispute. It's a big city with big problems. Why implement an ineffective, accident-producing non-solution? Perhaps it is because the powers that be would rather endorse a hasty and cutthroat policy. Perhaps they have neither the time nor the inclination to work out a reasonable solution. What has happened to the laissez-faire business practices America has embraced all these years? The messengers say it's not their fault when someone is hit. We hardly expect you to believe that. Yet they have survived. Perhaps they haven't made life as we would have it in New York possible. Well, prove that they haven't. show that they are only disposable cogs, and the wheel itself will certainly collapse.
The coach wants to ban them riding the bike in the city.
How could New York's commerce proliferate in the years since 1975 without the bicycle messenger? No, there aren't hundreds of Horatio Alger's stories of messengers pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. Mostly it's guys working hard for a living, with about 2% of them turning a good wage commensurate to the risk they take and the work they do. Their sport is not conducive to a stadium sport atmosphere, yet they enable this metropolis to move. Nelson Vale's was. Some current messengers are close, but none are as fast as the world-class racers. But it is doubtful, without experience, that they are as fast as New York's finest messengers in traffic. And would they carry the packages? Why? Money. They are professional athletes and they deserve what they make. The solution to abrasive messengers is perhaps to take them out back and have them shot along with every other New Yorker found guilty of being abrasive.
Wages are what's wrong with America. That's why Americans are so lazy. I mean, commissions, messengers work harder than anyone else I've ever seen.
That's cool.
Except cab drivers. That's why I say cab drivers are our allies.
What inspired you to become a messenger?
The money.
Money?
Yeah. And I like to keep in shape.
How many years have you messengered and what has kept you doing it?
Well, on and off for like 12 years, since I was like 17, 16 years old. And it really gets you up, you know. Keeps your body moving. I like the excitement.
How old are you and what is your socio-economic background?
Well, I'm 29. My socio-economic background is not that bad.
Been on the road for almost 11 years. And, you know, it's the same reasons for why I started in the first place. You're more or less free during the day.
Various companies and finding that it was rather difficult, being a minority and not, having an opportunity to sell my product without first showing them what nationality I was. I figured that the only way that I was going to really make any money to support myself and to maintain an economic status that was going to be comfortable for me was to do the thing that I like doing best, and that was riding my bike. is that it makes money for me. The second thing is that it's exciting and it's dangerous, because that's the type of person that I am. And the third thing, which is most important, is that it's fun.
I think you're all fucking assholes.
Yeah?
Okay?
Why?
Why? Because you're doing this.
Why?
Why?
Why the assholes?
I think you're because you're doing this.
Yeah, they're just workers like you, guys. Right?
Everybody else.
What do you say?
They should obey the law like any vehicle on the street.
What do you think about this?
They're right.
Huh?
Absolutely right.
They're right?
Right.
Where are you from?
Israel.
Yeah? What do you know about this thing?
We know.
Where did you hear it?
We live in New York.
Traffic, stay back. It includes cab drivers. It's nice to you. Shut up! Shut up!
The chaos of pedestrian traffic is self-evident, and while jaywalking is routine, messengers are painfully aware of who shoulders the ultimate blame when a collision occurs. To a pedestrian, the term right-of-way seems to carry with it a license to move unpredictably and irresponsibly. With caution thrown to the wind, many no longer bother to look both ways before crossing the street. Veteran cyclists are philosophical and do not fault such a chaotic system. They simply adapted. They are very good at what they do, and they move very fast.
Beach Park and Madison for them, so they protesting against that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. All those people are messengers?
Yeah.
Messenger services?
Yeah, 3,000 people involved.
3,000 bicyclists?
Yeah.
What
yeah.
kind of messengers are they? What do they transmit? What kind of messengers?
They
communist messengers?
No, what? Communist? No, they delivering parcels.
For what? For Russia? For the Soviet Union?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Kind of a tentative counter-proposal. And which the points weren't that bad because they were pretty much the points we knew we were going to lose anyway, except for one, which is our independent contract ship. We don't want to lose that. If we're going to lose our independent contract ship, we want something written down from the companies that we're going to make a base rate, that we're going to have an incentive program. You understand? The incentive program will protect the speed and the amount of riders. And also, then they're going to have to come up with health benefits and everything else. Because we don't go nowhere out of our independent contract without benefits. You understand? I don't want to go nowhere without dental, medical, and I'm sure you don't. And I'm talking about us covered and our own covered. That's a positive scene if you step back and you look at it. Right now, the number of people that's shown up, it looks negative. But it really isn't, because right honestly, people get bored with this. And get tired, yo man, I put in my week. I put in my...
Every winter, New York thanks its lucky stars for the fortitude of the professional messenger for getting the job done. Preferring to imagine themselves as leaderless individualists, they have resisted efforts at unionization. There are certain parallels between messengering and the major leagues of professional sports. Messengers are free agents, able to go from company to company to get the best money possible. Really good dependable riders are naturally paid higher percentages for the work they do. Unfortunately, there is not enough money to create pension funds for a workforce that generates a 90% turnover rate. The market is presently geared primarily for the short-term career messenger whose salary is relative to the work performed. Messenger delivery patterns are divided into clusters. Anywhere from 1 to 8 packages will be picked up in one area, depending upon the client's needs. On a harsh winter day, a delivery may take up to 3 hours to complete, but generally, bicycle messengers provide guaranteed 1-hour delivery service. When considering the size of Manhattan, it is easy to see that the 4 to 8 walkers it would take to replace each of the 3,000 bicycle messengers would really add to the congestion, and New Yorkers will never lose the need to slow down.
We don't want to change the world, just want to ride our bicycle.
This guy walked out in front of me and I was trying to tell him. I hollered at him and he didn't hear me, so he just kept on walking and he knocked me into a truck and I broke my shoulder. And it was all his fault. He was crossing in the middle of the block, he wasn't on the crosswalk. He was just trying to...
They didn't have the light or nothing?
No.
You had the light?
I had the light, I had the right of way. He was just walking in the middle of the block.
You called to him and he didn't respond at all? He just kept on walking?
He just kept going.
He ignored you?
Yeah, he ignored me. He didn't even pay any attention to me.
So you almost got killed.
Yeah, I hit my knee and my head.
And I came across him, he was here.
But then he helped me, he was nice for a little while so he could get out of it. He walked my bike to where I met her. And then, the guys in the building, the building attendants asked him, was he with me? And he said no, and he walked away real fast while I was trying to find her, and I never got to see him.
Punch people and stuff like that. Tell him you lost it, Yeah, I'd really rather not.
The real problem is not bicycles hitting people or injuring people or doing anyone any harm. It's bicycles scaring people. A lot of horseshoe players out there, because they think close counts, but they just, that's the big problem. People zooming by them, and you figure that you have the light, you're legal, they're jaywalking, you're going very fast, and so you go zooming by them, and they get all upset about it. But shit, if I got all upset every time a cab almost hit me, I'd spend my whole day in an apoplectic frenzy.
I choose to neither influence people.
Well, sure it scares people. It's not rational. It's not
You think that's scaring people?
Most office workers in New York are so scared by their very lives, just getting up out of bed scares them so fucking much that a bicycle
looking at their shoes.
They're afraid to look up. They're afraid to look up because they've been told if they look up, they'll be robbed and raped and murdered immediately. So they're not looking around them. They're looking at their shoes because they're afraid they'll catch someone's eye and that person will whip out a gun and shoot them. So they're walking along looking at their shoes and they're so fucking scared of just life itself. And then some crazed guy on a bicycle, some young person making a lot of money and who belongs to some deviant, some kind of deviant group, that they're scared of anyway. And the thing is, you see them there in the middle of the street and you keep pedaling. I've had them say that to me so many times. It's like, yes, I keep pedaling. It's like, they don't take it personally when the car driver, keeps his foot on the accelerator, but,
Can't see his foot.
Yeah, and they can't see him, but they can see you there on your bike. So they're like, oh, this guy tried to hit me. And they don't even think about the fact that, they're out in the middle of the street without even looking, and that you didn't hit them, you just almost hit them. And that's the big thing, this almost hitting people. That's what is the root of the whole fucking thing. Close doesn't count, If I by my skill can evade some moron who wanders out in the street, I should be getting thanks, not abuse.
Right?
Well,
that doesn't make any sense. You've got to cut down on the traffic.
Also, because people driving cars will pay the ticket.
There are a hell of a lot of single occupant cars coming from the outer
and we don't
boroughs
really,
and from Jersey, and it's just, there's too many cars.
Too many cars, too many buses.
And
It's about the
plenty of
traffic though, right?
Yeah, but you see...
I think messengers...
You've got to cut down on the traffic.
Also, because people driving cars will pay the ticket.
There are a hell of a lot of single occupant cars coming from the outer
we don't
boroughs
really,
and from Jersey, and it's just, there's too many cars.
Too many cars, too many buses.
And
It's about the
plenty of
traffic though, right?
Yeah, but you see...
I think messengers in general gotta, start being a little more courteous.
Well, there are a lot of messengers out there that are like new messengers. They buy the clothes, they buy the bike,
Like that
they
dude
buy the
that was in
bag,
the
and they think, you know, by like running red lights, they become cool. But well, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I never heard anyone say they wanted to make a career out of it. But I've seen an awful lot of people do it. I've seen an awful lot of people make careers out of it, like me. You know, I sure never thought about it. I never considered myself like a lifetime messenger or anything. I always, you know, it's always just like, oh, just another month, just another this, just another that. But
looking to blow the stock.
Hey, what's up, dude?
I saw you today. I was right behind you, but I forgot who you were, and I was like, this is Steve with the phone.
Castro.
Jerry. That's what I think about. And then when I figured out who you was, you went, I think, up second or upset. You went cut up one way. So you wouldn't like to be lumped in, and I don't appreciate being lumped in with all the crazy riders.
Oh, I do care. I want to read your poem. I'd rather read Shakespeare.
What do you think about the bike messengers?
It is Shakespeare. I think they don't give a darn about it. They're working by the piece, and they're trying to make as much as they can.
Okay, if we don't give a darn,
what are your main concerns?
Getting hit.
Have you ever been hit?
Very closely.
So you think they're a hazard?
Well, I understand that, sir. I understand your point of view. But listen, just the simple fact that this band is still here, because we'd like to see safety on the streets for everybody. How many bicyclists are there in existence that do not ride in New York City because they say it's too dangerous to ride in New York? Well, why not make the streets safer for all cyclists to be able to ride and to be able to get along well in the city? Why not re-educate the entire public through mass communications and just re-educate everybody how to have proper street etiquette and just have respect for each other? I give you, there's a great number of bicyclists that have no respect, but it's hard to give respect when you get no respect.
You want to bring back the bike lanes?
No, bike lanes is ridiculous. We have a right to a lane, not a bike lane. We have a right to a lane, whatever lane we're in, just like any vehicle on the street. This is our right, but we don't get this right. We get pushed out of the way by cabs, trucks come right up behind you when you're riding where you feel you should be riding. The bicycle lanes are dangerous. They're unsafe. They're terribly kept. There's no upkeep on them at all, except for the new paint job they just recently had. Primarily, you could expect to run into opening doors, pedestrians popping out between, cabs pulling over, trucks pulling out, this, that, and the other on the side lane. It's suicide. That's what we call the side. Suicide. All our demonstrations are saying the same thing. Hey, you're interested in safety? Listen to us. We know the streets. We know what's going on. Sit down. Set up a commission. Let's have pedestrians. Let's have bikes. Let's have motor vehicles represented on this commission and sit down and really discuss safety in the city.
We do need to get ourselves together and follow rule instructions like it was for sitting today, which, I mean, to me,
in a course like this, you have the city on one side and you're on the other side. The police department is nothing more than the umpire. That's all we are. So, the city, unfortunately, they make the rules and we enforce them. You guys are the players. You know, the peddlers got together. Everybody thought they were unorganized. They got their laws together. They're flourishing now much more than they ever had. They organize. It might cost you $5 or $10 each or something to put a binder up or something.
All gotta get it together.
Well, if you want to do this business again, you want to go up to city. You guys want to go up to city? You want to take me on a tour in New York again?
Boss, what do you think about this one?
Oh, just keeping the peace.
Just keeping the peace?
Keeping the peace.
Really?
So nice people like you could be safe.
Thanks.
Let's ride our bikes. This is supposed to be America. Freedom. No freedom. Move to Jersey. Let's all go to Jersey.
But how about enforcing Section 1231 of the State Vehicle and Traffic Law, which guarantees cyclists the right to the road? We know some cyclists ride assaultively, but that won't change until the police department starts going after the dangerous riders and giving all cyclists the protection of the law instead of just punishment. And we call upon the police commissioner to implement some immediate steps on behalf of safety and the law.
A messenger cannot afford not to be the best and to be very fast, for a poor cyclist is not only unprofitable, he is a hazard as well. Maybe the city can ask the world to wait while it catches up. We can't. If the services New York offers can't be offered faster and faster, those services will go elsewhere. Why not accommodate the messenger in these years before the total computer age? Otherwise, it could all be done in Atlanta. Cost is no object when a job must be done. We can't afford the danger inherent to the fast messenger. Some of them say they never hurt anyone.
I think they should, I think they should be able to work, in a certain area as long as they respect the law and all the lights and everything. I think everything is worked out all right. I think they have a job to do. I
like the guys, don't you?
Oh, definitely. I think the majority of them, they do obey the lights and all that.
Of course, many clients regard the messenger with scorn, concerned only that their packages may be receiving less than exclusive treatment. In fact, a messenger is responsible for several customers and many packages at a time, and all of the packages must be delivered as quickly as possible. A skilled rider can complete an amazing number of runs in a very brief period, covering many miles in a matter of minutes.
Hey, what's up?
Whoa!
The fast messenger would like to defend himself by saying, "I can calculate all the lights. I do not intend to scare you, but can you pay me what I'm worth? The skills I have, to be as good as I am, is not easily duplicated. Problems are caused by everyone who mimics me because you don't know when something will happen. I depend on knowing before it happens. New York is tough. Pay me what I'm worth and I'll do what I can."
I've always been amazed, kind of, because messengers are always going faster than I am. And some of them obviously are professional riders. I mean, in terms of, you can just tell the style that they ride, just sort of, fluid, whatever. It's always sort of been of interest. And also, I used to have a bike helmet. I mean, I still wear one, but I had one that I had painted. And it was coincidence because there was this one messenger that had done a kind of a similar thing. And I always sort of picked up on that. You see these guys for years. I mean, the same one sort of climb the avenues. And I don't know how they do it, really. Well, it's, Koch has a tendency to go after weak groups. I mean, you don't see him going after the real estate people. I mean, he calls Trump, names, but I mean, he's really completely beholden to that interest. And the messengers are really, what easier group to stomp on to say, well, let's, we've got 4 letters in this week from, constituents on the Upper West Side that are complaining. And if people, I had an interesting conversation with this guy over the summer, and he's, I don't know, he's a lawyer or something, and he was talking that, he sits in his office and looks down at Times Square and, you know, and sees the cyclists. And he was saying he's for the, you know, registration and everything, but he depends entirely on the messengers for him to make more money. And he said he would be, you know, really in trouble if he was not able to have someone pick up, you know, a letter, take it to, you know, another office, to a court. I mean, he relies on it, but he was saying like both ways.
The bike has no brakes. They'll stop the operator, tell him how they have no brakes. That person demonstrates the brake.
Okay. And that's okay. Then that's
the vehicle and traffic law. I can almost quote it to you. There's a brake that's capable of stopping the bike enough to cause a skid. Something like this, right? Yeah, kids would do it.
That's great news. That'll be good news to the track riders because the most efficient bike would be a track bike with handbrakes. Right. That would be like double, triple brakes.
The other ones are 1973 with the Clean Air Act.
Like I said, we
extended a lot more than 10 years.
Let's get a real solution. We're all for it. I mean,
so we don't have to keep doing this every
we have a lot of solutions to throw out to you, and you can take some, reject others, but we're professionals. We're on the road every day, so we know what we're talking about. It's not like we're talking out of our shoes. All right? We're talking out of our bicycle seats.
It really depends. The ones who laugh become very good at it. The pros, because they realize that their bike is their life, you know, literally. Because if there's something wrong with their bike, they can lose their life. Plus, it's their, you know, it's their pay.
People didn't run people over, did they?
Yes,
right. Because that's the real problem. That's the real problem. People didn't run people over, did they? Yes, right. Because that's the